guys, I always have clients asking me for snacks and treats and things that they can eat that are healthy and that their kids would eat too. They're also always looking for ways to put more greens in their diet, especially in their kids. I hate to use the word diet, but into whatever they're eating. They want their kids to eat more greens. And so this is a great treat, nice snack that is good for after school. You can also use it in your dishes if you're making like Buddha bowls or poke bowls or different kinds of salads. It is kale chips. It's amazing how much kids like kale chips. I used to teach kids cooking classes, and we would make kale chips, and they were always afraid to try them, and they loved them. Something about roasting the kale gets rid of that bitterness. It brings out the sweetness. Anyway, so all I have here is I have some curly leaf kale that I just pulled off of the stem. So you can see the stem's missing. So I just I held up the leaf. I should have saved one so I could show you. But I held it by the leaf while I was washing them and pulled the stem out so that I'm left with just the greens. And so I'm going to make two different flavors here today. I'm going to make one that is has salt on it, and I'm going to make another one that's going to have this is a vegan Mexi ranch, which if I don't have a video for it, I'll create one and put it on there. But you can Google vegan Mexi ranch and find that, but any kind of creamy dressing. I'm not a vinegar-based dressing. The vinegar will not help when you're roasting it. So a creamy based dressing, any dressing. It doesn't have to be vegan if you're not vegan. I prefer a plant-based dressing. So this one is made with cashews and has some spices. And so I'm going to make it two different ways. You don't need anything at all. You can just roast them with nothing on them and you'll be amazed. But for people who are used to eating some salty things, I'm going to put some salt on one side. So all I'm going to do is I have my oven preheated at 350. As a matter of fact, I have some in the oven right now so that we can see. I'm just going to tear them into pieces about the size of a chip. You can see that. So I'm just going to tear it with my hands. We don't need any special tools today. I'm not measuring anything. Y'all know how I am. I just want it to be quick, simple, and easy. Something you can do, something your kids can help you with. They love to help with things like this. So kale is part of the cruciferous family. So very wonderful for all parts of your health. Your heart, protecting your DNA from damage, full of antioxidants. This bright green color tells us that it's so healthy. Full of chlorophyll, which is the blood of life for the plant. I don't want to crowd the pan too much. Can you see my pan? Yes. I'm just kind of filling it up. We don't want them to overlap too much when they're roasting because then they won't get crispy, and the best part of a chip is that crispiness. So you can see they're kind of wet. Can you see I just have parchment paper here. Can you see my pan is a little wet? Water droplets. Because I just washed it and brought it over. And that's okay. That's going to help the salt stick. Nothing wrong with that. So the first thing I'm doing is just filling up my pan. And like I said, I'm making two different flavors. You don't have to do that. So I'm going to want to be able to separate them a little bit. All right. So here's what we have so far. Oh, I have room for a little bit more, I think. There we go. So like I said, I've used this in a salad. Sometimes you'll see like a wilted kale salad or massaged kale salad. You could use kale chips in place of the massaging. This is so much easier and quicker. All right, so here's my pan. None of them are overlapping. They're all just kind of side by side. It's hard to tell that because of the way they're curling up. But all I'm going to do is I have my salt. I'm going to sprinkle it on one side. Just a light dusting. On the other side, I'm going to put maybe a couple of tablespoons of my Mexi ranch. You could also just use garlic powder and onion powder. Forget adding a ranch. Just use some seasoning on top. Smoked paprika. And salt if you like a smoky flavor. Make them more like a barbecue chip. Alright, so I'm just kind of spreading the dressing on here. I'm not really applying any pressure. I'm just stirring them up. You could use a spoon, but it's a lot more fun to play with your food. It's the way I like to go anyway. Alright. There, it's kind of coated. One thing I didn't do is bring a paper towel over. That's alright. See if I can reach one behind me, and then I'll just show you. I'll hold it up so you can see. I'll flip some on my face. I have a towel behind me. There we go. And I'm going to sprinkle on, this is nutritional yeast. You don't have to use that either, but it gives it kind of a cheesy flavor for people who are not eating dairy. You can get nutritional yeast that is fortified with B vitamins, so that's an easy way to get B vitamins in. Or you can buy it in bulk bins where it doesn't have any B vitamins. So here we are. I have my cheesy flavored kale chips and my just salted kale chips. Alright, I'm going to stick these in the oven at 350. I'm going to leave them in there for about 20 minutes, and then I'll pull them out. I think we'll probably flip them and do 5 more minutes. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay, I pulled these out of the oven. You can see they shrunk up quite a bit, a little bit more than I expected. I'm going to flip them. The ones that just have the salt on one side are crispy. You can hear, kind of crispy. But the other ones that have the dressing on them are not. So I'm just going to flip them, maybe toss them a little bit. And sometimes I forget to flip them and it works out too. So you don't even have to worry about that. Just leave them in a little bit longer because you want them all crispy. There. Try not to touch the pan because it is a little hot. There we go. I'm going to throw those back in the oven for about 5 more minutes just to let them crisp up a little bit more. Okay, so I pulled the first batch out of the oven. You can see they shrunk up. Looks kind of miserable. So I went ahead and stuck the ones we just made together in the oven for 15 minutes. You can see they're getting a little bit crispy. I'm going to flip them now and stick them back in the oven for 5 more minutes. So these did not shrink down as much. I'm assuming I didn't put as much kale on that other pan. You know how I am. I don't measure. Anyway, let me flip these. Trying to spread them back out so they're not overlapping. Alright, I'm going to put them back in the oven for 5 minutes and then I'll show you. Okay, it's still hot. I just took these out of the pan after the second 5 minutes. You see they're crispier. And I left my hot pad over there. Anyway, you can see it's not nearly as shrunken down as the other one. So let me just give one a taste. You can see crispy, crispy. So yummy. And I'll taste one of the ones with the nutritional yeast and the dressing. Really good. Anyway, let me put them on a plate. So good. I think I like the dressing one the best. But plain is delicious too. It would be really good if I didn't know I had the dressing. So here are our regular green ones. Great little snack. You might want to call them something different other than chips with your kids though. Don't want them to think you're pulling a fast one over them on them. But they might still think that they taste like potato chips or corn chips if that's the kind of thing they're used to eating. I can pull it off. There we go. I love parchment paper. Makes cleanup so much easier. And the dressing. So the ones with the dressing on them don't look quite as pretty. They're kind of brown from the dressing. You can see the ones that just have the salt on them are still really green. So it's just the dressing that's turning brown. All right, so here we go. If you make these, let me know. Like and share my videos. Comment. Let me know what you would like to see or learn about. I love to share. Enjoy.